Hello everybody, how are you today? I hope that you're doing well. I'm going to leave a link down below to a video of Dr. Heiko Shonin. Um, the video is entitled Police Attack the Dr. Shonin at Trafalgar Square protest, but when you actually view the footage, you will see that more than likely it's a man who's standing nearby the doctor, who's very well known to another man who's standing right next to him in a white t-shirt with freedom written across the chest of the t-shirt. So these two men, they know each other quite well. They speak to each other. I think, in fact, they look very much alike. They both have got a kind of ginger beard. Maybe they're brothers. But the point is that 1 minute this guy in the cap is there, and the next minute, after he's gone. After the doctor's pushed, you don't see this man. There's nowhere to be seen. He's scarpered. So I'm certain that it was him that pushed the doctor. And then, the person who's uploaded this, can they not see that? Why have they entitled it Police Attack, Dr. Shonin? And then a whole heap of other questions arise, like, how comes he knows the guy in the white t-shirt so well? They're conversing with each other. And as well, it caught my attention that the man in the baseball bat, the baseball cap, he turns his back for quite a while to the person filming, and maybe he's communicating with the police. Maybe he's thinking about taking his action. Maybe he's psyching himself up because he knows what he's got to do. Who knows? I don't know. 1 minute he's talking to, like I said, the guy in a white t-shirt. Next minute he's turned his back on him, and then a little while later, the doctor's shoved. So yeah, I watched this video, and then a few days later, I came across a video on a channel called Logical Annie. Or Annie Logical. I always get this wrong way around. It's called I don't know what it's called. It's either called Logical Annie or Annie Logical. Anyway, yeah, I will leave a link down below to the video, so then yeah, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And in this video, she's explaining that the anti-COVID group, not Stand Up X, the other one, was established and it's funded by someone who probably is controlled opposition, and slightly disappointing, not too shocking, and then that figures with what happened to Dr. Shonin, that these two guys who were there were all meant to be on the same team, but no, it seems clear to me that they're not on our side. I don't know. It's like recently I listened to footage of I listened to footage of Piers Corbyn talking about people setting up groups within their own hometown, anti-COVID-19 groups, and getting involved in activism. But when I heard Piers say that, I said to myself, any group that's set up is going to be infiltrated, or like Annie's pointed out, they're groups that are set up as controlled opposition from the get-go. So yeah, this is where we're at. Hard times, but as Christians, I believe that we stand individually before the Most High and His Son, Christ Yeshua. And we are not supposed to be following the lead of any man, any group, any organisation. And that way we cannot be led astray. And if we're not an organisation or part of an organisation, then we cannot be infiltrated. We're getting on and doing our thing and be accountable to nobody but Heavenly Father. And that's what I have been doing since I became awake to this pandemic. I made it an issue to speak to people every time I left my front door. Wherever I'm going about my daily business, I'll always stop and speak to people, start conversations with people, point them to YouTube channels. It was always been Dr. Batar and Dr. Coleman, and now it would be Dr. Shoning as well. But the point I'm trying to make is that when you wake up to a false religion and you understand that they're all false, there's no point in then going back into another church. I notice a lot of ex-Jehovah's Witnesses do after they left Watchtower. You have to just stand in your own sovereignty before the Most High. You read the Bible, you study, you pray, you put into practice the way that our Lord showed us in your day-to-day life, in your dealings with people. And that's it. It's simple. You know, you don't subject yourself to a man who's, I don't know, an elder or bishop or pastor or whatnot. Yeah, those things were required for the early Christian congregation in its infancy. It needed that help and support. We don't need it now. And these and back to COVID now, these organisations like Stand Up Eggs, you know, I think they're doing a great deal of good. I love stepping out of all of this craziness and going and being around people not wearing masks and not sanitising their hands, and like-minded people. It's just refreshing, it's needed, it's upbuilding. But then it all goes to the wall because we're so heavily infiltrated, we are so badly being played. All the clashing and all the fighting and negativity that broke out. And then we're there at the protest and we're all getting our phones out and recording it and putting it on internet, on YouTube, on Facebook, on whatnot. Yeah. We are being used. We are being played. We have become the instrument of our own demise. We're fueling the fire. We are causing division. We're showing how horribly these police, stormtrooper riot police are behaving, and then we're allowing others who were not even at the event then to hate on the police. Yeah, we're solidifying that and making that division even wider between us and them. And really and truly, that is the last thing we should be doing. We need to get the police on our side, and we shouldn't be hurling all kinds of filthy insults at them, all kinds of slurs, coming out of our mouths when we see them turn up in their riot gear and get angry at them. Yeah, and a lot of the, not half the time, people they're arresting, they're plants there anyway. They put on the waterworks, or like that woman, get punched in the stomach or slapped, pushed, whatever. We're well and truly being set up. I'm going to leave a link to another video down below, and I was so impressed by these people in Moscow, Idaho, USA. Their church broke the lockdown restrictions. They met together. They didn't social distance. They were outside in the open air. Okay, so they obeyed on in that case. It wasn't raining. It was a nice day. Why not meet outside? And I guess they needed to be filmed as well. But members were picked off, arrested, and handcuffed. And, they looked upset, some of them, particularly the young woman, she looked up like she was close to tears. It wasn't an easy thing to do. Maybe she felt victimised at that particular time. Why me, not anybody else? But this is war. And you might get called upon to surrender your civil liberties, and you might get called upon to be the one that has to go to court or get thrown in a police cell for the night, while everybody else goes home and have the dinner. It might be your turn, and that's just the way it is, and we have to be prepared to take that. The point I'm trying to make is compare this footage from this church in Idaho and how they respond to the police to how we responded to the police at Trafalgar. And one man who was taken away, he was saying to the policeman, "You're stronger than this. Yeah, you're cops. You're strong." Yeah, trying to speak positive vibes to these officers. And this is where we need to learn, and this is how we need to go forward. We either need to take measures at these protests and turn our backs on them, yeah. We need to either sit down or, remain calm. Say nothing to these officers. And if you're going to say something to them, say something conscious, say something positive, say something that will resonate with them. And they'll go home and they'll think about what you said. But above all, we would avoid giving mainstream media all these images that they can use against us as a slur. Yeah, anti-COVID protest turned violent, all of these headlines that we've seen. And then they wouldn't have images that could then go out and, on people's mind, contribute to causing a division with us against the police. It would have a positive effect. People will feel proud of how we respond to the police. I mean, I felt so proud for those Americans in Idaho, how they handled that situation. And they were singing whilst their brethren were being arrested. And it's just inspiring. Yeah, and it will inspire others to make a peaceful stand. Now, the scale at Trafalgar Square was a lot bigger than this church in Idaho. Imagine if we'd responded like that, and those sorts of images and that vibe went out across the world. And I saw another interview of Dr. Shonin, Del Bigtree interviewed Dr. Shonin, and he started out this interview with images from all around the globe of police brutality. This is being manufactured. I believe it's 100% manufactured. Some of those victims, might be genuine. There's one I'm not so sure about, I could be wrong. I think it's in Germany. And the woman being arrested, a young woman, she's a small girl. And the guy, the police officer, seems like unusually big. And the way that he's just so forceful with her, it's just shocking. It's just shocking. And I just said to myself, really and truly, could be staged. Maybe not. I don't know. But either way, it's achieving its goal. The deep state and their psycho team have planned this all out, and we are falling into their hands. We must be peaceful wherever we're protesting in the world. We must not even hurl aggressive language and insults at these officers. Use the opportunity, like this Christian did in Idaho, to talk to them calmly, try and reach them logically, asking questions or encouraging them to act differently. It will work. It will work. It will backfire. They will have a rebellion within the police force eventually. They will down tools eventually. They won't psychologically be able to take what they're being asked to do. But if they come to us and we're angry, we're fighting, we're confrontational, we're only gonna like make them want to stand in their role, in their job role against us. And who wins? You know, we'll be divided. Police, military, and us, and those elitist Satanists will just have one. Divide and conquer. It's always worked so well. Don't let them divide us. Berlin's coming up at the weekend, and I'm really looking forward to seeing some footage from that. And oh, please, I am praying for Berlin, and I would encourage everybody to pray for Berlin, to pray over Berlin, that we just do not see scenes similar to Trafalgar Square. Yeah, and also in regard to Dr. Shonin, I came across an interview by Fiona Rose Diamond on BitChute, and I'll leave a link to that below. And listen to this doctor talk. It makes me realise why the powers that should not be were so determined to shut him up and not let him speak, because he's not just speaking out about medical matters. He's speaking out about this pandemic being organised crime, and he's calling out the oligarchs that we shouldn't support them in. I mean, it's difficult for me to talk about because I don't know how I support these oligarchs in my day-to-day life. I mean, I go shopping down my mall and buy bits and bobs downtown. How is that supporting some kind of organised crime? I know Big Pharma, they're most definitely organised crime. Do I stop buying paracetamol and whatnot? Or when I go to my GP and get a prescription for something or other? I mean, I'm not entirely sure what the doctor means, but listen to the video. Listen to him talk. And he has been saying that we should no more support organised crime, stop buying from organised crime, and replacing these businesses with our own businesses. And that all of that kind of makes sense. But like I said, I don't really know how. I mean, how does anybody work for organised crime? Unless you work for maybe, you work for your local pharmacy. Is that working for organised crime? Again, like buying pharmaceuticals. Yeah, would I be buying from organised crime? And I'm not a business-minded person, but I'm sure a lot of other people are. But having said that, I did look a little bit into African American history, and there's what's called, I think, Black Wall Street, where the African American community had their own businesses of all types of descriptions, and they were doing so well. They even had their own banks and everything, but they were quashed. Yeah, they were just completely destroyed. The powers that should not be would not permit their success. So I admire what Dr. Shonin's saying here. Yeah, it's all good, but I'm not too hopeful right now, Heike. I'm afraid I'm just not too hopeful. But you've got to do what you've got to do, and you've got to promote, I guess, some kind of solution to this world crashed economy right now. As a Christian, I believe that it would be maybe a good intermediate step to have businesses set up that we're not supporting the evil system. But eventually, I believe a system without money is the only solution. Jason Leah Satos, He speaks a lot about this, and he's the only person I've heard on internet speaking about humankind being the only species that has to pay to live. You know, you have to pay your rent or mortgage, or you have to pay to buy food, or whatever. Money. What is it? The devil invented the money. That's why I see it. He invented this money, and that's what's brought us to this day. Greed for it, and the power that it gives people. We weren't invented. We weren't created to live in capitalist system. That's my opinion. One day we'll live in a world where, one day very soon, I believe, one day very soon we'll live in a world where there's communities that help and support each other. We help each other build homes. We help each other to grow food. We help each other whatever way, whatever way necessary to take mankind forward. Yeah, and I believe there's a great dividing work going on right now with this coronavirus situation. There seems to be mainly two camps, those who believe and those who don't. And I've noticed that from my leaflet distribution, there's a lot of people aware of the pandemic. There's a lot of people aware of the scam. But what can we do as individuals to bring it down? This is where I believe we're actually at right now. And David Icke, I've heard people slate David Icke saying, oh, he's been talking about this for years and years, but where's the solution to the problem? David Icke has given us the solution. I don't understand. People are not listening. David Icke has said, stop acquiescing. If everybody stopped acquiescing, this would be over next week. But when I go into town and I'm the only non-mask wearer, there are loads of other people who have the same viewpoint as me, but they're putting the mask on to go shopping, to go on the bus, whatever. They need to stop acquiescing. I think that this is the bottom line of it, where we're at now. We need to stop acquiescing, and I think also David Icke has said you need to be loving your fellow man, and that too is crucial to the way forward. To treat other people as you yourself would like to be treated. I mean, there are YouTube videos that I've been on, and people are totally awake to this pandemic. But then it seems like there's that racial divide there, where they'll reference London as Londistan or something like that, because there's black people and Asian people in the country. And that just makes me sad, We are planet Earth. That it seems to me that being patriotic, being nationalistic, is just another means of causing division. Yeah, that's my opinion anyway. Okay, listen, I'm waffling. I've lost my chain of thought entirely. I wanted to say about Isaiah 54. Isaiah 54 and 17. That is a familiar scripture. It says there, any weapon or whatever that will be formed against you will have no success, and any tongue at all that will rise up against you in the judgment you will condemn. This is the hereditary possession of the servants of Yah, and their righteousness is from me, is the utterance of Yah. So, yeah, the enemy wants to use our mobile phones against us as a weapon. Yeah, they're causing all this conflict and confrontation at protests, and then we're filming it and putting it on the internet, and all the negative vibes are just reverberating out into the community, and we're all hating on the police. We're becoming divided. So let's use this, turn it around, and have peaceful protests. Film it. Film positive things being said to the police, and yeah, let's turn this weapon against them. We won't be divided. All right, take care. Bye.